me talking for an hour. We are going to have a collection of wonderful women who own their own businesses that are energy-centric focused, from doctors to therapists to sound healers to mediums, animal communicators, designers, all kinds of aspects of energy, healing, and getting connected. I call them 10-minute passion talks. We're going to give them the mic and the video and have them just, I was going to say spill their guts, and I was like, oh, that's a little violent. But share honestly where they're coming from and just get to know them a little bit better, which is always wonderful. Today, I'm using a streaming program called Be Live, and we're able to be on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. I do get to see your chat threads, though it's kind of disappointing. YouTube members, I don't get to see that you are a member, and I don't get to see any of the energy, the financial energy donations. So please excuse me if I'm not doing shout outs. It's because this program doesn't really let me interact in that way. At any time, if we get disconnected, which happened once before last Friday, we will just step back and then we'll only migrate over onto YouTube. So at any time we get disconnected for luminaires that are on Facebook, just jump over to Jamie Butler Medium on YouTube and we'll continue to chat there. Hey, Jocelyn, there you are. You have been following me around all day today. Today we had a class on chromotherapy with the color blue, and then we also did a distance healing, which turned into this really kind of expansive, multi-dimensional experience, and it was pretty wild. I enjoyed it. Dan, Mr. Arizona is here. Amora is here. Hi, Mary Anderson. Guys, it's so good to see you. So I'm excited to share that Dr. Sarah Wilde is going to be talking first, and she's going to be talking about manifesting your intentions, which I'm sorry, but I would like to hear, always need to hear re-encouraging words and different perspectives on how to manifest your intentions, because I think that's what life is, period. She is a health educator and a detox savant. She doesn't really call herself that. That is what I call her because she's just that amazing. And I'll have her links up so that you can go and research her a little bit more and get to know her. But here is Dr. Wilde, and she's going to talk to us. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, thank you for the introduction, Jamie.
You are very welcome. Please take the floor. I'm so excited to listen.
You've got it. So what I would love to do with everyone today is a little meditation practice. I offer this to clients and in sound bath, and we recently did this for the beginning of the new year, and as we make these new transitions in our lives with the new moon cycle. So let's just start by creating a little bit of open heart space. Take a couple of deep breaths, ground into your center, into your feet, into the legs, into your seat. Put your hands on your heart, and we're gonna just take a deep breath together. Big inhale and exhale. So to open, let's just start with loving kindness for yourself. I want you to remember an act of kindness that either happened to you or an act of kindness that you offered to someone. So close your eyes. If it's difficult for you to get into that space, you can also imagine a small child in front of you who brings and awakens joy in your life. So you just need a little love and intention to start this process of blossoming. We're going to check in with a gratitude frequency. So first and foremost, thank yourself for showing up today. You're here to honor your own needs and your healing. Let's give thanks to all the circumstances that allowed you to be here. And quietly, you can name 3 things for which you are grateful, no matter how big or small. So close your eyes, take a breath, hold this space, check into your heart, take an inhale, and offer up one thing that you have gratitude for. Big inhale and exhale. Bring one more person or item to mind, one more movement to mind. something you want to give gratitude for. Big inhale and exhale. And one more simple breath. One more thing that you have gratitude for. Hold that gratitude in your heart. And exhale. So go ahead and put hands to your belly. We're here to talk about manifesting your intention. There's a reason you are here. So hopefully you came with an idea of something that you would like to witness, some change you would like to have in your life. This could be a change in yourself. It could be in other people. It could be in your environment or your community. So think of something that you would like to manifest. This could be a relationship, a career. It could be with family or something even more personal, financial, emotional security, self-healing. So hold that in your mind's eye, holding your hands to your belly, and imagine before you a seed. It's just a simple seed. Manifestation is like gardening. With the right conditions, the right air, the right temperature, the right soil, the right amount of sun or water, we'll be able to bring to fruit what it is that we desire. So in your mind's eye, drop the seed into your heart space. What conditions are necessary for this to take root? Let's visualize together. Imagine yourself in a moment or in a space in which you've already manifested your desire. This is the first condition, the right soil, desire. You know what you want. Perhaps you can see parts of the pathway there. The changes that you can make, circumstances you can control. What does it feel like to stand in your power? What changes, physical or emotional, did you make to arrive in this manifestation? Come back to that. Take a big inhale, and at the top of that inhale, hold to the count of 4. So inhale and hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale very slowly through pursed lips. Let relaxation wave over you. Breathe life into the seed. Firstly, rooting down the steps that it will take. Inhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And exhale slowly. Let your breath return to its natural rhythm. This breath is abundant. Let it be easy. Soften your physical being. The second condition in gardening is our seed of dedication. Sometimes this is about doing the work. If there are steady steps ahead of you that you know you have to take, make a mental list of daily achievable tasks. Perhaps you are uncertain of your steps. Perhaps you want a sign for God, the universe, or your angels to show you. So while you're holding this space, ask for it now. Dedicate yourself to nourish and water this seed. Be dedicated to the desire in your heart by being more open, more receptive, willing, and worthy of your vision. Let's add some light. Open the crown, open the high heart. Give yourself a little integrity check here. Is this change for the highest good for yourself and for others? How will it benefit you? How will it benefit your immediate community and environment? Let's go back to the breath. Take an inhale. Hold for the count of 4, 2, 4, and exhale. One more time. Inhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. And come back to the natural rhythm of your breath. Take a note of any tension that you're holding, any doubt, any mistrust. any achiness in the body, any resistance you might be experiencing. You can ask this to leave. It's not serving you to hold on to these attachments. And the last condition for your seed to blossom is trust. Now let's have our hand to our belly and a hand to heart. Trust yourself to arrive into the moment, to be awake to your opportunity, to feel confident and release any self-sabotaging habits or thought patterns. Name one thing that could be an obstruction on your path. Trust yourself to be adaptable and flexible to show up for yourself, moving past any blocks. Honor yourself and your vision fully. Mistakes happen, accidents happen, life happens. Trust yourself to be kind and encouraging as life breathes through you. Remind yourself, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Honor yourself fully in this journey. So let's create a quick opportunity to birth the vision. You're going to do 21 big breaths, forcibly drawing air in and out. You can do this in your own practice at home. We can do it together now. Take a big inhale and exhale. Inhale. 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 Exhale. Halfway, keep going. It's okay if you feel dizzy. Keep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 5 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going. Feel all of your cells wake up. Feel the tingling. Feel the vibration, the calibration. Wait for the invitation to arrive to your next breath. Take an inhale, exhale, and hold. Hold until you feel the pull, the draw, the need, the desire. When you're ready, sip in slowly a long belly breath. Be filled, be satiated, be dedicated. Your belly is full, your heart is full. Intention is being communicated through the vibrations of every cell of your being. Check in with your light and your emotions. What is shifting in you now? Thank you so much for being with me today. You can join me on wilddetox.com. I do have a few meditations available online. I do offer in Jacksonville, Florida, sound baths once a month, acupuncture and integrative therapy services, and online functional medicine services, and an integrative cancer therapy known as the Gerson therapy. Thank you so much, you guys. Enjoy yourselves today. Wishing you the best as you go forward. I have no audio on you.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I was saying thank you so much to you, and how I got so lightheaded when we were doing the series of breaths and like imagining flushing everything out. I forget how important breath is and linking it to our intentions and what we're doing. So it was really refreshing.
Thank you.
As Mary Anderson said, about killed me with my breaths.
That's just creating fertile soil. It's about creating a new frequency or vibration to welcome new energy in. So you're clearing out all the old, bad carbon dioxide stuff and bringing in that fresh, clean, clear oxygen. And I think it does so many wonderful things in the body. I think a lot can actually be healed with our breath.
Big time. I enjoyed that so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, good luck to everyone today. Enjoy.
Bye. Oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. Okay, so we are moving through to our 10-minute passion talks, and we're going to be hanging out with Marisa Meddin, and she's going to be talking to us about believing what our minds can't comprehend, connection with the other side. Marisa is a wonderful medium and also works some with past life regression as well as intuitive coaching, and I can't wait to hear from her. Here we go. I'm getting pretty good at the technical stuff, but maybe I shouldn't say that out loud to jinx myself. Hi.
Hi.
I like to ask this question. Where in the world are you?
I'm in Costa Rica right now.
Nice.
Yes, I know. I'm moving around.
I enjoy that. So please take the floor, enlighten us. I can't wait to hear more.
Awesome. I have to unmute myself. I think I'm good. Let me know if not. My name is Marisa Meddin. As Jamie mentioned, I am a medium. I do past life regressions and intuitive coaching as well. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about how I became a medium and how we can all start to believe in this connection that sometimes feels almost impossible to believe. I know I've had a lot of, I say trouble, but just the things that have happened. It's so hard to comprehend sometimes. And I believe all of you watching this also believe and are starting to probably come into this communication as well. So if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be working as a medium, connecting with the other side, traveling the world full time as I do this remotely, I would have thought that you were the crazy one. I still think I'm a little crazy sometimes, but this isn't something that I always did. So I want to share a little bit about how this started for me, my journey, and some of the amazing stories and situations that I've learned and come across along the way. So for me, it all started one night, one rainy winter night about 3 years ago. And I had been on this journey of just kind of learning about all things self-development. I became really fascinated in channeled books and information and Abraham Hicks and manifestation and law of attraction and past lives and all of these things. But really, I was just interested in them in my own healing. I never expected to be working in this capacity whatsoever. So again, about 3 years ago, I was talking to a really good friend of mine whose cousin had committed suicide. And it was the 1-year anniversary of this suicide. We've been talking all weekend. Her family was having a hard time. And we were talking one evening just about all the hard times her siblings, her mom, her family, all of her, everybody was going through in their family. And I went home that night and I started writing in my journal, really just for myself. I was going through a lot at the time, and it was a practice that I had been working on. And as I started writing, all of a sudden this letter came through from my friend's cousin to her, sharing information about why he had committed suicide, what he wanted to share with her, all of the questions that had been on their minds. And I had never met her cousin. I didn't know if any of this information was accurate or true. And I was a little bit shocked. I should have been a little more confused, but I had been learning so much about this and writing, channeling, and all of that, oops, I said to Jamie saying, I'm not here. Let me know if you guys can still hear me in the comments there. I'll keep on going if you can. So that was kind of the first experience that I had with talking to the other side. People are saying it's fine on YouTube here, so I hope you guys can hear me. So after that experience, the second time that this happened to me was actually I had gone to a session, a channeling session with Jamie to one of her public monthly channeling sessions where we had the chance to ask questions. And my mother, who was with me, who's a believer in all of this as well, asked a question for her father, my grandfather, who had passed on. And as we were leaving, I just felt in my head and I said, Mom, I feel like I can hear him saying more, but I can't say it. I don't know what it is. And so I went home that night. It was late in the evening. And the next morning I woke up and I just felt like all of this information was coming through. So I grabbed my phone, wrote out in the notes of my phone, typing this whole letter from my grandfather to my mom. And I sent it to her over email. I texted her and I said, Mom, check this out. I don't know what's going on, but see if this means anything to you. She called me back about 10 minutes later, her and my dad both crying. My dad is not a crier. And they just said, I don't know how you knew this information. Like, thank you so much for sharing. It was just so impactful and meaningful to them. So my mom told the story to her friend, and this is how it continued. Her friend had a daughter who I had never met, who'd had another friend who had died of a drug overdose. This girl was 19 years old. And she asked, her mother asked my mom, it's like telephone here, if I could write a letter for her daughter from this boy who had passed on. And again, I had never purposefully tried to do this. I didn't even know what was happening. And I said, as long as she knows that I have no idea what I'm doing, I don't know what's going to come through. And if something does, I don't know if it's accurate. As long as we're on the same page here, I am more than happy to give this a try. So I had her send a photo to me. For me, I just like to connect to people visually. I looked at the photo and again, I just started writing. So for me, my medium gifts, some people see spirits, some people hear things. For me, it all comes out primarily through writing. So I got this picture and I just wrote this letter. Again, all of these, they come out as a letter from the person who's passed on to the person who wants to communicate. And I sent this letter to this girl and I just said, I have no idea. Like, please, I'm sorry. I don't want to make things worse for you. I was so nervous. I didn't know what was going on. But I was like, here's what came out. And she wrote back to me and just said, it was a text. She's younger. She used lots of emojis. She said, thank you. I don't know how you knew this information. This was the closure that I needed, right? She was able to kind of move on with all the heart emojis and all the things. And so it was from this moment that I said, all of this, I believed in it before, but I was just said, this must be happening for a reason. If this gift is here, I feel like I need to keep doing this for people. I saw the impact that it kept having on the people on the receiving end. So I just said, all right, I'm going to keep going. And so what I want to share is that even now as I do it, it's still so hard for me to comprehend. And as I write, it almost feels like a story that I'm making up. Or when things pop into my head, and maybe a lot of you feel this way too, you might feel like you're communicating with someone, but it feels almost as if you're making it up. So I want to encourage you all to believe that what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what comes through to you really is that communication with the other side. So I want to share a couple quick stories. I know our time is limited. Of just some really cool little details that have come through in these letters that have really just kept reminding me to believe that all of this communication can be so real. So one really fun one was a letter that I wrote from someone for his grandfather. He hadn't visited him in the end and really felt a lot of guilt that he hadn't been there. So he was asking questions about this. So when people submit on my website to ask questions to get a letter from their loved ones, I say, send me a picture and up to 5 or so really specific questions that you want me to ask. So we talked about the guilt and all of that. But one of the questions he wrote, which I thought was a fun one, was, what do you miss about, being alive, being, in this body on this earth? And he wrote, family, missing his loved ones, being there physically and all of that. But then he said at the end, I really miss my port, as in like that dessert wine. So this was totally random. Again, every time I write these specific words, I always think to myself, like, I should delete this. This is so strange. Like, it's not going to be true. And it's always those strange little things that are the most meaningful to people. So what I heard back from him afterwards was, he said, my grandfather loved port. He always drank a port wine after dinner. So I thought that was a really fun one. Another one that I really loved was a letter that I wrote for a client, and it was from her sister who had passed on. And at the very end of the letter, as she signed off, she said, I love you to the moon and back. And as this person, I don't know what anything means as I write these. It almost feels like hearing inside jokes. But she wrote to me afterwards and said, that was a phrase that my sister and I always, like our mother used to say to us. That was a phrase that we used in our family. So that one felt really powerful to me. Another really fun one was someone who, it was someone's friend who had passed on. He was in his late 50s or early 60s, I believe. And at the very end, she had asked him a whole bunch of questions. And she just said, at the end of the letter, he said, P.S., tell my mom I love her. And this was so meaning, again, to me, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But as this person wrote back to me, she was like, I don't know why you chose to write this. This person was maybe he was in his late 60s. I wouldn't have even known his mother was still alive. And he said he was so close to his mother, and that came through. So there's all of these different stories. Those are just a couple of examples. I could go on and on. But what I want to share here is, as I write these letters, I still, every time I send them, I always think like, what if this isn't real? What if this isn't true? And the magic just keeps happening. So I want to share with anyone here who maybe has lost somebody, that when you just trust and believe in this process, and you guys are here following Jamie, so I believe that you guys probably do, but there really is a real magic and a real connection. And what I love about the people that I write these letters for and connecting for myself is that it just feels like such a sense of peace, such a sense of closure. And it's really just a wonderful way, I think, to believe that it really is real. So I encourage you all to trust those voices that kind of come through to you. And if anybody would like more information or to learn more, you can download a sample letter at my website, marisamedium.com. Jamie's so great. She's like magically there. And if you want a discount, I always offer for Jamie's Luminaires, you can go to marisamedium.com/JBM for Jamie Butler Medium and get a special discount code. And I also do past life regressions for people, which are really magical, and intuitive coaching as well. So thank you guys for listening. So great to speak with you all. And I hope you have a fabulous day.
Oh, you don't get away that easy. I've got a question for you, because Jennifer E. is asking, do you do mediumship letters for animal companions that have crossed over?
I would love to. I haven't done any in an official capacity. I've done them informally for relatives and friends and family. But when you go to my website, there's a place that just says, submit a picture in the questions. So if you want to submit a picture of an animal and your questions, you can absolutely do that too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing the stories. It helps us normalize that, yes, even the people in the profession and in the field,
yes,
this is so weird. Why would I even say this?
Yes.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was something I really helped learn during our mentorship from you. Is like, if you feel that way, I can feel that way. And we all, it's still so real, and just to trust it.
Trust it. I hope you have an incredible day in Costa Rica.
Thanks, Jamie.
A little jelly because Atlanta is just a little overcast.
Oh,
so gorgeous.
Right. It's nice and sunny here.
Thanks.
Just to say.
And thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks, Jamie. Bye, everybody.
This is so much fun. Okay, now we are going to be hanging out with Bonnie. Make sure I got to check, make sure I am letting go of the right people. Here we go. Got this whole system beneath the screen that I'm working with. And I feel like my heart is going to sink if I hit the wrong button. Bonnie Casamassima from interweavepeopleplace.com. And she's going to be talking to us about connecting with your intuition using the psychology of design. So let's bring Bonnie. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. A moment ago, you had a screen share. Is that something that you're going to want to do, or?
Today it'll be a conversation.
Oh, I love this. I get so excited about how you see the world, because it's so, I don't want to say romantic, but it's romanticized, and it's all rooted in energy and emotion. So I'm pretty thrilled about this.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited to be on here. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm disappearing. Bonnie, take the floor.
Perfect. Well, hello, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well. As Jamie shared, my name is Bonnie Casamassima with Interweave People Place. I assure you, Bonnie works just fine. I know the last name is quite long. But I'm so excited to be here with you today to talk about how we can use the tool of our surrounding spaces and the psychology of it to support your own journey of listening to that inner voice and tapping into that intuition. So Marisa shared such a great conversation about, had you asked me 5 years ago if I would be coming up here and saying that I'm a medium, it would have, I wouldn't have believed you, right? But listening to that journey and listening to what aligns most for you has been incredibly powerful for me. So I'm really honored to be here. I am a medium, having gone through Jamie's course. I'm also a professor of interior design and a researcher. So I'm so honored to be able to blend all three of those pieces of me to share this conversation with you today. I think to start off, I really want to acknowledge that we are all really powerful and incredible. And there's this brightness that runs inside all of us, and I believe connects all of us to something that's much deeper. And for me, it was acknowledging in this research-driven mind. I'd worked in the academic field for the past decade, as well as consulting in the architecture and design field, work that I still do and love. It was more about listening to what that voice was saying on the inside and following from there. And the more I listened, the louder it got. So I just want to encourage everybody to know that if you're going through that process, to listen. So today we're going to be talking about the tool within the psychology of our spaces and what we can do within our outer environment to support that connection with our inner selves. And specifically, we're going to be looking at what is it about the healing science of nature and how we pull that in our spaces, such as our homes, throughout our day-to-day lives. So great to be here with you today. This is going to be interactive, so get ready. And I can talk about this from an academic lens all day, but really what's important here is that we get with the feeling. So what we'll cover is an overview and an activity, sinking us into that feeling. And then I'll share a process to support you in walking away, having some tips of how you can use that space, making immediate changes to support you in your own journey. Shall we begin? Getting a lot of yeses. Wonderful. Perfect. So what I invite us to do, and I'll do it with you, is I invite us to take a moment, quiet our hearts and our minds, take a deep breath if you need to. And I'm going to close my eyes. I invite you to do the same. I invite you to imagine being in a natural environment that you're most drawn to. So maybe this is sitting by the ocean. Maybe if you're like me, it's climbing to the top of a pine tree in the house where I grew up. So the introverted me could be supported and read for hours. Regardless of what that natural environment is, I invite you to sit and imagine being in that space and just be aware of what's around you. Right? What colors do you see? What smells do you see? Are there any sounds that come through? Really root in and feel that sensation. Let's be there for a moment. And while you're there, really acknowledging what you're feeling in that moment. Are you feeling it at any particular place in your body? Like a calmness in your heart, for example. That's how I felt when I was up in that tree. So now that we've been in that space, I invite you to come back together. Open your eyes if it's supportive. And if we can use the chat section to share, what spaces did you all go to? And how did you feel? Were you calm? Were you energized? Was it the ocean? Was it the desert? Right? Got some really great ones coming through. Right? So for me, for example, Great. We've got the ocean. Jamie shared that she pictured being in the ocean and she felt really free and happy, right? Great. We're getting a few oceans coming through. Wonderful. Ariel was at the ocean as well. It's incredible. Curious, how did you feel when you were in that space? So Kelbi, Luminous Healing, shared that we're very open and flowy in that environment, right? So the question I want to ask you is, when you just imagine being in that space, did you feel differently than you did when you were in the physical space that you're in right now? Got a few yeses, absolutely. So I want to do this activity to make that connection that there's a direct impact on our environments and how we feel biologically, psychologically, and intuitively, right? And we can use that. There's a whole science with it within the fields of environmental psychology and biophilic design. If you're interested in learning more, we can use those tools to support our journey in tapping into that intuition and connecting with those feelings, right? Absolutely. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So hold on to those feelings that you felt, those senses that you used. I'm going to guide us through a conversation. And now that you've imagined being in nature, we know that our spaces impact us. We intuitively feel it. We psychologically just felt it, right? What do we do with it? And how can you use it to support yourself on your journey and creating that connection and intention for how it resonates most with you, right? So we could talk about this for hours. We've got a few minutes together really beautifully. And really you want to think about it as 3 steps, right? So the first step is set your intention. The second step is to clear anything that doesn't align with that intention. And the third step is to use your space to pull in what does align with that intention, right? Very high level. So we'll use the example. You'll set your intention. So my intention was, how can I really connect to that intuition on the inside and quiet that critic that came from the academic and research field saying, you're not feeling what you're feeling, right? So I knew that that was the intention. So this first step was to remove what doesn't align. And for me, that was removing all the stressors in the space. When we're looking at the built environment, anything that connects us with a stressful response, so maybe we see a key that a former partner gave us and it didn't end so well. What's happening on a biological level is our body is being engaged in fight or flight. So our blood pressure rises, our muscles tense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that one element, if it cues a fight or flight response, it can create a series of events that takes about 4 hours, 4 hours for our bodies to get back to that resting state. So thinking about removing anything in one area of your home, maybe it's a meditation nook that you have, remove anything that doesn't align with that highest vibrational state for you, because there's a reason it feels so good to clear the clutter and take things to the donation. You're removing a lot of that emotional stimulation that can create negative consequences in your body, right? So now that we've set our intention, looked at what doesn't align and remove that from the space, the third step is to pull in your built environment to engage our brains in what's called our theta waves, right? So these are the brain waves that are engaged during our dream state and often during our meditative state. We can use our built environment to help us to get there and to do it very quickly. So one of the things we've removed that stresses us. So we want to think about elements that integrate that experience of nature, as well as foster gratitude. There's more things that we can work with, but these are the 2 we're going to talk about today. So look at elements that pull in that gratitude. When we get into a state of gratitude, just like when we're writing in our journal, it engages those higher brain waves, allowing us to be more easily connected to that inner voice and our intuition. Our theta waves help us to get there. And For example, the art that's behind me, that's reversed camera, so I'm trying to figure out where it is. That came from a client that I really love to work with. I'm on Zoom calls all day when I'm working with clients. And I intentionally put that art behind me because I see that working with clients can be very joyful and flow very easily. And I'm always in a state of gratitude when I see it. So put items such as pictures of loved ones or art that you've made from your travels that evoke that sense of gratitude to help you be that connected. The final thing, absolutely, is to look at how you can use the psychology or the healing aspects of that natural environment and pull it into your built environment. So going back to that visual, that space that you went to earlier in our activity, which ones of your senses were engaged? Was it smell? Was it sound? Was it all of this? Let's look in here. I'm interested to see what they were. For me, my sense was really engaged. The sensations of the wind going over my body were engaged, right? So great. So we're looking at, perfect. So ocean and smell. So Jamie's saying that her smell was engaged. So when you're adding in what supports you in that environment, when you're looking at the healing aspects of nature, it's not about literally pulling nature in, though that's part of it. You can have plants around you. There are actually 73 attributes that we can use to pull into our environments to bring that sensation of nature in. The goal here is to engage all of your senses with that process. So we can use things like color, like aromatherapy, like the sound of moving water, right? That engages with that sensation. So you want to think about, as a quick recap, right? Set your intention, remove what doesn't align because those are the stressors. And the third step is align your space with that supports you, focusing on pulling in gratitude and the healing aspects of our natural environments and our built ones. It's a high-level overview to talk about some of that, what that's happening on a biological level, right? It's helping to reduce our stress. It's helping to, when we have a connection with sunlight, it engages our pineal gland, which is involved in a wide range of support tools for us. But one thing in particular, it switches our melatonin protection off, serotonin on. So the human way to say that is make sure that you are having daylight with you throughout your day. So if you're in the United States, in our hemisphere, having your bedrooms on the east allows you to wake with the sun and then allow you to have direct daylight throughout the day. That's one of the many tools that you can use. So we cover a lot of information. Set your intention, remove what doesn't align, foster what does, focusing on gratitude and in the healing science of nature. And it's been an honor to be here with you. My name is Bonnie Casamassima. Would love to talk with you more, to provide a session, a channeling session, or to support you in creating a space that nurtures that intuition within. You can find me at innerweavepeopleplace.com. Thank you so much. It looked like Jamie was joining, but I will be here with you all. One question I do get a lot is I've moved from working in an office, now I'm working from home. What's one way that I can really support my productivity, my happiness, and get into that deeper state of intuition? And the number one suggestion, beyond making sure that you're integrating the healing science of nature around you, is to make sure that your back is protected. So you feel safe, your body's very calm, and you're more easily able to get into that higher level of well-being and connect into that intuition. So it looks like we might be having some technical glitches. Now that we have shared that overview, one thing I do want to share on a personal story is that I definitely felt a resistance leaning into these gifts when I first started. And for me, they came through visual downloads and meditation. And the more that I listened and the more that I experimented and said, okay, well, I'm getting this visual download to the questions I'm asking, the louder they got for me. And coming from a research and academic field, it was, I felt the need to be this or that when I started leaning into the intuition and connection with universal intelligence, what I call as that. And I realized that the ultimate goal for me was really combining all of those pieces together. It was combining all of those elements together and using that to support people on their own journey of pulling in their brightness. So it's such a joy to be here with you. It's been such an honor being on Jamie's mentorship group, and I look forward to talking with you all further. Reach out on innerrefuelplace.com. You can connect with me there if you have questions. Happy to answer specific questions or even set up a support call with you. Thank you. So it looks like we're having technical difficulties. Thanks so much for being here with us. It looks like I'm getting instructions. It says, what happens when Jamie can't get back? Bonnie rocks it out. Maybe when I end my screen, I'll be able to come back. So let me say thank you, Bethany, for that tip. Let's see. It looks, I'm not seeing anything on my side that's saying to end my screen. But that does not mean that I am here. Okay, are you sure you want to remove that source? Anybody have an advice? Oh, Beverly, absolutely. Thank you. We got Mitzi and Bethany, Mary, wonderful. Okay. Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Yeah, it looks like we're having some shifts and some technical difficulties. So I will go ahead and bow out of here if I can figure out how to do that. Sarah, it's so good to see you. And everyone, Lumineers, thank you so much for your time. And please reach out with any questions. I look forward to connecting with you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye, Bunny. All right. Thanks, guys, for helping us with our technical difficulties. It's okay. I mean, if I'm on a call with anybody, why not be Bonnie?
Yeah, I'll just chill here with you and listen with bated breath. So I'll just be here as your audience. Does that sound good?
Well, my name is Sarah. I'm with Positive Sound Vibes. You can find me through social media with that or at positivesoundvibes.com. And I'm a sound practitioner. So for me, I know Bonnie just went through some activities, and I think that's a great way to kick off. So today I'm going to talk about just how to keep your joy. So one of the really cool things, and journeys that I've been through this year is just how to keep my joy. So I'm actually going to ask you in the chat to type 3 things that bring you joy. And I want you to reach back to when you were a kid, like what those things were. So just go ahead and put some things in there. For me, I'll start us off. When I was little, my dad played the guitar. So one of my favorite things to do on Friday nights was to dance, sing, make songs with guitar, silly noises, all sorts of things. So let me see what's going on. Let's see. Just waiting for people to type. So there's all sorts of stuff. Like, what brings you joy? Hey, Jamie.
I'm here. Hi, this is Sarah Payton.
Hi.
I am so sorry, and I just want to give a beautiful shout out to Bonnie for rolling with the punches. I had to log out and back in 3 times. I'm so happy you guys stayed in it because the thread running. So please take your full 10 minutes. You don't have to cut it short. No need. I'm so excited that you're here. And Lumineers, thank you for rolling with the punches. You are going to talk about joy. Bring it on, because I need a little bit of it now because that stressed me out. And I don't want it to stress me out.
I understand. So people got some really cool things. I see rainbows, sweetie pies, hugs. Oh, that's my favorite. Nature, big one. Love that one. So let's see. We got animals, the beach. Oh, love the beach. That's actually where I went when Bonnie was talking earlier. In music, because music's my thing. Yeah, all those things are so great. So just think about those things and let's kind of like hold those in our minds. One of the things that actually got me to this is I was thinking about, it's the beginning of the year. We're talking about vision boards, all those great things that you want to do. And, it's one of the things that came up as I was working with Spirit is on my board, I realized I had the abundance of joy, the path to joy. So I feel like that's really my task this year. Because sometimes as a sensitive person, things can happen. So I'm going to kind of give you an example. I was on my way to Atlanta. I was doing a self-care day. I was having the best day. I had like a hair appointment. I was going to go do some spa things and have a really great time. And a friend during the middle of that sent me a message and automatically it just zapped my joy. And, I, of course, empathize with her, sent it back. It's one of the good things about being a sensitive person. But I was sitting there in those feelings and what was going on and just trying to think like I was on cloud nine. I sang songs all the way to Atlanta. I live in the middle of Georgia. So about an hour and a half of song singing, I was hitting my high and all of a sudden this thing came in and just made me drop into, just feeling and emoting, what she was going through in that experience. So one of the things I decided then was to claim just unapologetic joy. In that moment, after, helping her out, and kind of addressing it, just choosing to go back to that and not, without guilt, without abandon and having unapologetic joy that I'm going to continue, just carrying on with that joy. So, just choosing joy without guilt, without whatever, and just living in there and allowing yourself the freedom to do that. So, as a sensitive person, it can be really challenging sometimes, just all those feelings, all those sensitivities and going through that. So I know it's something we all kind of struggle with sometimes, and protecting those boundaries and giving yourself the freedom to go back to the joy that you had started with that day. You might have to sit, take a couple minutes, take some time, maybe do a clearing or two. But that's one of those things, just keeping your joy. And so another thing that you can reflect on is one of my favorite quotes, and I meant to bring it with me, is "Blessed are the beautiful that have humble places where they see nothing." And so that's by Camilla Pissarro. And that's one of my favorite quotes is, seeing things where other people see nothing and finding that joy. And so that kind of takes me to my point number 2 is shifting your perspective. You do have the ability to choose your joy. Just kind of reframe, think about how, you want to have that joy. So for that, my husband and I recently were taking apart a massage table. I know, it was for sound healing. I'm going to put it on the floor. I'm so excited. So people, when you have a one-on-one experience can, not just lay on your mat, you can have something a little cushy and fun. And I actually got it for free. It was a massage table a friend of mine was no longer using. And, we both had 2 different perspectives. Admittedly, he was a little grumpy about the whole thing. And taking it apart, removing the he was just frustrated. And let me tell you, if you've ever taken apart a massage table, those are the longest screws I've ever seen in my entire life. So, from that, he's coming through, I have to get this done, just being grumpy. And for me, my experience is, I don't know if anybody's ever had those wrenches that you have to use that make that little, it sounds like a frog or something, that noise. And for me, it was taking me back about working in the shop with my dad as a kid. So at that point, he's grumpy. I'm actually having a really great time and we have a conversation about it. And just, that, the frog noises along with a really long screw, just working together, he actually started laughing with me. So, knowing that you can change your perspective, help other people change their perspectives, raise their vibrations, and then, you're contagious and you're bringing that joy with you and laughing through it. So, be that person, choose your perspective. It's all in how you look at it and holding on to that joy. You can be infectious and help other people be joyful and learn what that is. I know not everything is joyful and there are times to be sad, but you can definitely, reshape what you're going through. look at your perspective. You can either focus on things and how they're not working out, or you can focus on things and find, small things to be grateful for. Just adding to that gratitude, lifting up others. And when all else fails, you can make silly noises, whether it's the table with the frog-like noise, or just make a silly noise. Sometimes we get really serious and things are crazy. And that's actually one of the cool things about sound healing is releasing sounds, is that you can actually, we all do them like, oh, woo, but sometimes you can do ones that are just silly. And just, when you're like, you can make animal noises, or you can do whatever, or just do something silly, because that kind of takes you back to a kid. Think about all the kids, like, they're screaming, they're making noises. You can hear that they're enjoying having a exuberant life. And you can totally add that into what you're doing every day. Why not? I mean, you only get one life, right? And why not make it fun and live it with a little bit more joy? So just to recap, you have the ability to choose joy. You have the ability to shift your perspective, and you have the ability to be contagious. And then just check in with yourself. What are you maybe a little down this week? What do you need to add joy? Is it a little self-care? Is it, doing the flotation tank? Is it calling a friend? Is it dancing and singing in your house because you do it? It's fun to do. Why not? Just let it go. Release that energy, clear everything out, have a good time, and just keep your joy. So that's it for me, Jamie. And all my stuff. Oh, there I am. Yeah, that's me with sound bowls. I am in the process of and excited, and I'll actually be linking it to my website of releasing my YouTube channel. So that'll be in a couple of days to come. So if you want some humming with me on Sundays, or listening to some sound baths that I'm going to be throwing up there in the next month, feel free to check out positivesoundvibes.com. Thank you. Jamie, are you there? I know it's technical difficulties.
I'm so happy to actually be here. that was a whirlwind of confusion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I apologize. I had no idea I was stepping into the middle of your talk. I was just so excited that things were up that I didn't even pause to assess. So
it's totally fine. I mean, the here, right? Hey,
Well,
you can enjoy and pick what you want.
I appreciate that. Oh, look at that. We get to hang out for a little bit. What is your YouTube channel? Because I want to type that up here.
Yeah. It looks a little sad right now, admittedly, but it's getting there. It will be awesome in a couple of weeks. But it should be Positive Sound Vibes. So let's double check that for you.
Positive Sound Vibes. On YouTube.
Give me just a second.
Yes.
Just looking it up.
You're getting a lot of thank yous.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. Does anybody have any joy tips? I'm always up for taking some new ones.
John says, understanding that our reaction is actually after it has happened because of the cognitive process. Realizing that you can choose reaction because it's already happened, not happening to you. It makes sense. It does. So people were having some big aha moments. But I love that you're doing humming on Sundays. What were the other things that you were thinking of putting up?
I'll probably do some self-guided meditations, which is kind of excited, and then do some sound baths. I got this really exciting new me, and I'm going to be able to record some stuff. So I'm just starting the process of it. So exciting. Learning how to use it. We're all entrepreneurs and growing. So hopefully you guys will be patient with me and grow with me as I add things. So, if you need to have something just to bring you back to joy or a little self-care, and hopefully some interviews with some of the other girls on, they're full of all sorts of information. So maybe we'll be reaching out and doing some of that too.
Now there's just some feedback.
Oh, no.
Get it?
Oh, I like
away.
the shower singing one. That I'm all with you. Shower singing for life. They have the best acoustics in your bathroom.
You need to make some t-shirts based on all of this.
Hey, I got t-shirts ideas coming out my ears. My favorite one is here today, gone tomorrow.
Oh, so Sarah, thank you so much for hanging in there. Can you hear the same feedback I'm hearing?
To me, you actually sound good. There is a little bit of reverberation, but there's not like a lot of feedback that it's confusing and I don't know where we're talking over each other. So I hope everybody else can hear. Can everybody else hear?
Some say it's okay. To me, it sounds pretty awful. Okay, I am going to say goodbye for you and let you wrap it up. We have your website posted. I'm so grateful for you coming and talking about joy.
Sounds good. Fingers crossed about your feedback. Enjoy. Thank you for letting me talk to you guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. My goodness. Let's see. Is the sound back? Yeah. Isn't she, Mary? Such a beautiful little being of light. Her energy is so soft, especially when she gets into her sound healing and when she's guiding you through healing. It's wonderful. You guys are having some really good conversations. How are you doing, Lumineers? How is it to slow down and listen to other people's stories and just where they're coming from? Are you finding yourself in some connection or recognition within their stories? I'm just curious to know, because part of the fun stuff about this is finding out how normal you really are, even though you are extraordinary, full of just incredible talent, claircognizant, knowing stuff, feeling stuff, seeing stuff. Now you get to hear how other people are managing it, growing it, and building businesses around it. It's really, really fun. Goat Mama, that I am so disappointed that I've missed an entire conversation that ended with Goat Mama. Jocelyn, amazing. I still want my niece to be a part of your next mentorship group. She's so talented. Do you already have the spots full for the next one? Jocelyn, I have one spot open because we just had somebody step down. We have one spot open. If she wants it, we are ready for her. It starts February 2nd. I'm pretty thrilled about it. We have a global community coming up in 2021 for the JBM Mentorship, which is 5 months with kind of focusing on your natural intuitive abilities and how to express that in an entrepreneurship world. How do you manage your boundaries with being highly sensitive? And we just go really, really slow and walk through all of that together. So that'd be really wonderful. If she wanted to take a last slot, maybe that's why it's sitting there waiting for her. Who knows? Mitzi, definitely. This just oh, you just happened upon it? Oh, this is so great. You need to hear this and all the connections. Hi, Bonnie. It's so good to see you here. Oh, Jocelyn, that would be great. Excellent reminders. I started painting a bit to bring joy. Oh, while listening, a little worried I'd fall over because I'm super dizzy, sitting and painting now. Ooh, dizzy, so you have a lot of energy moving through your body. Get it, Jamie. This is my time. I get to chat with you a little bit. In about 10 more minutes, we're going to bring in Sara Reheis, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 other 10-minute chats, which is going to be exciting. But I just wanted to hang with you and check in. How are you doing? Are you observing as you're listening to these stories what you're attracted to, what resonates with you? And then after you get those hits, like, what do you do with them? This is where it's like, put it into action. Now that you've seen it, now you're acknowledging it, how are you putting it into action? You take notes about it? Do you then go to the website and research it? Do you sign yourself up for the class or the experience or the reading or the help? Do you come back and watch it again? How are you going to put into action what you're learning and what you're connecting to? That's 2021 right there. 2020 was kind of just, being put in a pressure cooker and just kind of like sitting there holding it, taking away everything that you were used to, and like, here's a new world. 2021 is like, okay, you got a new world. You got your feet underneath you. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to show up with those changes and live them mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? I would love to hear some examples of how you choose to follow through with things that you're attracted to. Because when we start paying attention to what we like, what we're called to, what we think is pretty, what we're like, ooh, I got to touch that. I know, all you empathic people, like, ooh, look at that pillow. It's so soft. And it's like you come at it with all the eyeballs on your fingertips. Ooh, it's a whole other way of seeing. But once you realize what you're attracted to and what you want to have around you, or maybe what you long for, desire, goal setting, manifesting, what's that next step that you're doing? I feel like if we choose to guide ourselves through that kind of sensitivity, that we're always going to show up and be in the right place. We're always going to be open to possibilities rather than thinking about what needs to be done or what should be done. We put those parameters. Man, I've lived so many years. I don't know if you're the same way, but I've lived so many years, even in the realm of me being intuitive and being a medium in my personal life, as a mom, as a wife, as a homeowner, as this, as that, business owner. I got to look and act a certain way because that's what's expected. And it has taken so many years to kind of crawl out of others' expectations and crawl in to what I want to be, who I am. So it's very interesting. Bethany, trusting myself more, working a lot more on inner work and self-love. Oh, that is so beautiful. That is action, my friend. Tons of action. Debbie, welcome. Debbie R, you just joined. You'll have to go back and watch. Yeah, we just had 4 people, women, from the 2020 JBMentorship group come in and talk 10 minutes of just passion, just something that they're called to. It could be their work, could be what they want to offer, could be things that they have found have just opened them up. And now we're going to listen to 5 more in a little bit, but this is kind of a break. Go get some water, stretch your legs. I was just checking in with you guys. Dawn says, breaking all my mental boxes and wait for supernatural. Just expect it. I love it. Hey, Patricia, what's your favorite go-to songs? Ooh, oh my gosh. I've got several. If it's just like I need a station to listen to, I go to my Motown music. I love Motown. It just calls to me. It makes me like dance. It makes me get goofy. It makes me remember my childhood, just parties that my parents would throw. It would always be Motown music. Right before we would eat dinner, my mother would be like, turn that off, because it's been on all day. She wanted a quiet meal so we could be together as a family. And it was my job to turn the stereo off. So this Motown music is really my go-to. I like sometimes classical music, Vivaldi, Beethoven, Mozart, probably in that order. And then right now I love the Lumineers, Mumford & Sons, kind of like folk, picking music, things like that. Sarah, you're back on here. Randy, I'm in the caretaker for my very sick partner. I've been tapping into my joy so I can keep my energy up for her. Randy, that is so beautiful. That's a very hard muscle to build. You know, when you love somebody inside and out and they're not capable or able to match you on your level of joy because they're having a different experience, whether that is an injury, an illness, whether that's in hospice care, It's very hard for you to maintain what you need and also let them be where they need to be. That is a true, true definition of compassion in my eyes. Luminous, hey Kelbi, are you getting ready to talk? You dig that funk? Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. You're having different conversations. 50 more minutes of all this high vibe and energy. Lordy. Yeah, we're just going to roll with it. It's just a Friday afternoon. I don't know if you just put it in your ears. If you're driving in your car, if you're at work, if you're folding laundry. It's just that kind of a thing. Ooh, Eric loves Bonfire Heart by James Blunt. That's one of your top 5 songs. I'm going to have to listen to that. Have you listened to Hymn of the Cherubim? I have not. I'd love to hear that. Hi, Marianne Potter. It's good to have you here. Everybody take a nice deep breath. It's nice to be present. Where's your head? What's happening? Are you out in the future? Are you thinking about the past? Stay right here. There's Sarah. I didn't know if you were going to come and use my... Didn't know if you were going to come and use my computer. You're setting up in the other room? I'm going to go ahead and bring Sarah on. You ready?
Hi, everybody.
So I'm going to have to close the door because we're going to get a lot of feed. Hold on.
In case you guys didn't know, I'm in Jamie's office right now.
This is all so interesting, isn't it? Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
How you
How's
doing?
everybody?
Guys, this is Sarah Reheis. She's going to talk to us today about supporting the collective awakening. But I wanted to pause before we get into that. You have found a landing place over on Patreon. How is that? Do you like it?
I like it. I've been spending the last month looking and diving into all the things that the Patreon creator side has. And it's so much more than I thought it was going to be. So it's really nice. I like it a lot.
Look at you with your shirt on. I'm just now seeing it. Sarah, that's so cool.
I figured, in case you couldn't spell it, here we are.
Well,
One day I'll have merch. Not yet, though. Okay.
But that's a good start.
Thanks.
So what do you think? Starting a little early, rolling with it?
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with this.
Okay, I would love it. I'm going to hand you the floor. Take it away.
Thank you. I'm excited to be talking to you guys today. There's so much that I've done since the last time that we talked, and I'm really excited to share it. There's so much on Patreon that we've been getting into, but I want to start and just let everybody know who hasn't heard of me before or didn't see my last chat. Sarah Reheis, multidimensional intuitive being here. I do readings and I do healings, but something I'm really, really excited about is Patreon this year. I launched it on January 1st. I know the last time I was on Jamie's talk, we had, I think that was maybe a month ago. It took me 2 weeks to put it all together. I was very surprised. Oh, that's me. But yeah, I managed to get everything on Patreon put up and sit together. So I want to talk to you guys today about why I'm so passionate about supporting the collective awakening. What does this have to do with Patreon to begin with? Really supporting the collective awakening for everybody who's empathic out there, highly sensitive beings. We're all very touched and impacted by the collective energies. So I really think that being in a space to support the collective energies really gives us a better time in dealing with it, because one, we strengthen ourselves, and then everybody is strengthening each other and supporting and being aware of what's going on energetically that's impacting us. So I think it is a part of the greater work we're all doing anyways. However you show up in life is how you're impacting that collective. And I really want to personally be a part of it, and really show up more authentically there. I think it's really important for what we're getting into in the next couple of years, that we have people who are out there unknowingly, knowingly, just aware that they have support, aware that there are places and people that are here for you to help you on your journeys. So with that, Patreon, so excited. I launched it on January 1st. And I've got 4 tiers on there, and I'll take you tier by tier and kind of break it down. But really, it's like a progression. So the first tier and second tier, so on, everything builds on each other. So depending on how much support you think you need or don't need, what you want access to is totally up to you. I tried to make something that was really accessible to everybody, and totally understandable that it may not be. But another plus to Patreon is that you can follow somebody without actually subbing or paying for anything, and whatever public posts that they do, you get to see. So it's really ding ding awesome. So with that, my Patreon, the first tier, let's just get into it. The first tier I have is $7 once a month. And that gets access to like all of my behind the scenes things, my work in progress. As an artist, as a creator, I'm always creating things. And as most artists, I'm self-conscious about those things. So having a nice little place to put those things that are in the safety of my Patreon community, that will give me feedback, and we can collaborate on the creations that I have. Poll access and things like that is all included in that first tier, as well as being a part of our Discord server. And Discord, for people who don't know, is like a group chat. It's like a refined group chat, kind of like WhatsApp, but there's no phone numbers. It's a separation. So like Patreon being a separation of social media, that is also a separation of like text messaging or emails. And I really like the idea of having everybody kind of come together. So that's just a plus. If people are into that, it's really there for, everybody to kind of talk and share and gab about what's going on in the world. So yeah, that's like the first tier. It's very basic. It's mostly for, supporting me, supporting the art, being a part of it, and getting into the community aspect. And then I have my second tier, which is $11 a month. And that will give you a monthly calendar. This is a thing that I've created for years. I have stacks of journals that have all of these, transits and whatnot have you that goes on throughout the collective. And I didn't really understand for a long time why I was keeping up with this. But then as I grew to learn how sensitive I was and how much I needed to be aware of what was going on in order to function throughout everything that was going on, I started building a calendar before every month, putting down everything that could happen from, holidays, typical holidays, to just the transits, to any solar activity or portal days. And then in that, I put that out there. Something that I include with that is that I'm giving you these definitions and the origins and more information, so you can hopefully grasp it more. And then the repetitive nature, hopefully, that's an easier way for some people to learn. And in that, there's also bonuses. There's bonuses for all of the tiers. I'm going to give everybody a little something. But I am going to be diving in deeper into the things that happen throughout the month that are not necessarily trackable, the things that are spur of the moment, disasters or, whatever occurs. I'll be touching on that in that second tier, which is $11 a month. And so that gives you kind of the control, right? These first 2 tiers are really like, support me. And then here's some things for you to kind of keep your mind inspired and going, and also aware of what's happening around you. And you can copy and paste that into your own things. It's like a doc format, so you can just use it how you feel. And then my third tier and my fourth tier are set up so if you need more support, if you're maybe beginning your journey and a lot of these things, you have so many questions. I might not necessarily have all of the answers, but I'm totally willing to hear you out and see if we can come to kind of, some understanding for you. And I really think that having that community aspect, right? We're all kind of asking all of these kind of questions. And sometimes we don't even know the questions that we're asking or what we're asking until somebody else says it. So having this be a group experience, I think is going to be really amazing. So for that, my third tier, $33 a month, you get 2 follow along rituals, which will typically be the new moon and the full moon. Bonuses in here is if there's portal days or any other specific like solstices, those will get added into additional rituals for you to practice, make your own, just kind of get ideas of how the different varying ways you can be a part of the collective energies going on. In addition to that, at the end of the month, we have one Q&A. And this Q&A is going to be like 30 to 45 minutes long. We'll see, we'll see what you have to ask. But I want it to be totally open. So it doesn't have to be about the month or the rituals or, anything. It could be totally personal or impersonal or grand and, alien, whatever the case may be. Just talking one-on-one with us in a group, and that'll be held on Discord live. So a lot of Discord is also video chats and streaming things. It's like a one-stop shop for all this kind of stuff. And I am really excited to keep using it. I've only vaguely used Discord, so we're learning it together, don't worry. And yeah, my fourth tier, the fourth tier that I have. And something that I forgot with the third tier is everybody with the third and fourth tier will get a downloadable artwork that I did for our phone screens. I also mentioned this in my last talk, and I've actually launched it already on Patreon, early access. It is public on February 15th, so I'm not going to spoiler. But if you want to join me on Patreon, you'll see that, and you'll see all of the other artworks that are for purchase. But for Patreon, I specifically made one that I will not be selling. It will never be for sale or anything. It's just a gift from me appreciating you. And my third and fourth tiers get that. So it's super exciting to see the feedback coming in about that. I really like it because it's still a learning curve. We're practicing this. So yeah, my fourth tier is $77 a month. And in that, you get, of course, everything that all of the other tiers have. But then you also get a one-on-one with me, 30-minute session, either a healing or a reading, whatever you choose, once a month at the beginning of the month. And that will be kind of, accumulation of everything. You've got all of this great work that you can do that, I can hopefully facilitate for you, and also support you with other collectives, support you with myself, and also support the work of the grand awakening that we are all experiencing and continue to experience. It's really, really, really amazing and really fun stuff. And I hope that there's something in there for everybody, that somebody will find some resonance or something is helpful. The only thing I can hope is that it's helpful and it does support you as sensitive individuals in this world, also just getting along. I know there's questions in the feed. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Jamie said, is this how you're supporting the collective awakening through Patreon and Discord? Yeah, I hope to. It's not necessarily, there's some spiritual people that use Patreon and utilize it that way. There's not that many on Discord. Discord is typically for games. I play Sims 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's why I know what Discord is, because I'm a gamer a little bit. I don't stream, but I digress. But yeah, I hope that it becomes a place that we can communicate collectively and and discuss everything that's going on as well, and be a part of the whole process. Doing the work is so much of, you know, the like, I don't mean, you know, you're going to your office and that's the work. The work is the inner work that you do to maintain your balance, be in flow, being open to spirit and source, and having less anxiety, less worry, less pain. You know, you'll still have that, but it's the awareness, the perspective that you have around that, and how we cultivate that will make all of our lives a lot gentler. Do I enjoy using technology to reach out to consciousness? I do. I think there's something really special in it. I think it's interesting because technology is so impactful, right? It's such a small thing that we've had for just like, I mean, it's a huge thing we've had for such a small amount of time. And so I think there's something to using it this way. One-on-ones remote, I think 2020 taught the world that, you know, we can do a lot of the stuff that we do in person online. And so how do we do that? How do we make that happen? I'm hoping that, you know, this is a way, Patreon and Discord, that way, connecting with everybody, not just who's in your radius. And really, you know, I think there's something to keeping up with what the world trends are, what's going on, because there's so much that are isolated to culture or country or location. And so when you tap into all of it, it's such a grander perspective to keep. And at least for me, whenever I look at the world events, the collective events, the space events, you know, my big things that feel huge or feel uncomfortable or overbearing really start feeling very small and more manageable. I was reading, sorry.
That I was just going to say, that makes a lot of sense. You know, when we have these bigger global things that are going on, if we can focus on the one things that kind of align and matter to us, we can, you know, ease anxiety and stress and feel as if we have the control we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Sarah, I can't thank you enough for, you know, coming in today. You had to travel to get here, and taking the time to share with us all of your work. I know you've been so excited to finally pull this together and have a structure and a system that just fits you. Because so many times before you've approached and not had that thing that just you can wear so proudly. And it's a joy to hear you talk about it. It's really cool. I don't know what that was.
I don't either. It wasn't in here.
Oh my
Neighbors.
goodness. Oh, tell me about it. It's probably what it is. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, literally.
You are welcome. I hope you have a great rest of your day, because I'm not going to get to say goodbye to you unless you're hanging for like the next 45 minutes or so.
Okay. I will see.
You'll see. That's cool. Take care, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye. This is so much fun. Up next, we're going to be talking to Emily Furst. She's going to be talking to us about quantum depths, exploring what's underneath. She is our multi-dimensional healer, quantum healer. There's just something so beautiful and unspoken, unsaid about how she approaches things. So please welcome Emily Furst.
Hey everyone. Hi Jamie.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah.
Well, take it away, please.
Right.
Tell us.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit. My name is Emily Furst. I'm an embodied starseed. I do multi-dimensional healing work, and I clean up and shift things on a quantum level. Looking at the world around me, it's like I'm always left craving something more real. I've always felt like there was just a more beautiful, organic way of being in the world. And I've spent a lot of my time just trying to force myself to fit into molds that none of us really belong in. In a general sense, we have lost our connection. This disconnection is bundled up and intertwined within the foundation of the society, this modern society, and this way that we live. This modern way of living is based off of seeing Earth as an object to use and abuse. We have lost our way of looking at Earth as a whole, as a living being, as something that we are also a part of. This way does not support what is natural within all of us. There's a suppression of our light, our spark, our creativity. We think of children and they're so alive, and then they're told to fit into boxes. We dump our energy into things that aren't even real. We live life with this mentality of pushing ourselves. Push yourself until you break. And when you break, keep going, because that's what a good worker does. And if you don't, then you're lazy, and we'll replace you anyway because you're just disposable. These types of imprints and patterns, they keep our minds overactive, and it becomes harder for us to really drop into the intelligence of the body, of our hearts, to find that internal compass that we all have. And we're moving out of this. Things are shifting, and it's time to move back into alignment with our hearts, with our spirit. This is why this work is so important. We are so much more than just these physical bodies. There are many undertones and energies flowing underneath of all things. There are many layers. All matter is made up of empty space. It's all energy. We are a field of consciousness, of light, patterns, textures, imprints, traumas, vibration. There are also collective fields that we are part of. Energy is the foundation of what we perceive and experience. When I do this work, I'm working in the quantum field of all that somebody is. And it's like I'm diving into a bowl of quantum soul soup. And I clear, balance, heal, shift, amplify, boost, connect, reconnect, whatever I'm called to. I look at you as a whole. One thing can be removed or worked with, and this can shift multiple things at the same time because we're working in the deeper vibrations, the core, and we're really getting to the bottom of things. One vibration can be affecting somebody, materializing, linking to, bubbling up in multiple different ways. The things we carry and hold on to act as filters for our perception. The more we let go of, the clearer we see. We can start releasing things on our own through ways like just simply dropping our awareness down into the body with presence, with curiosity, with acceptance. When we clear or shift things in the necessary ways, who we really are and what is really needed takes its place. And there's a sense of reconnection and of wholeness. We become more alive, connecting to life, our spirit to spirit as a whole. Through this, we allow the vitality of life to breathe through us and to live through us. And we move from this foundational place. Transforming ourselves in these ways is not only how we free ourselves, but it's really how we create real change in the world. The more we shift, in these ways, the more our outer world reflects it. To truly embody who we really are, we move forward in a natural way. When we become more in tune, connected, when our hearts begin to crack open, this ripples outward into the sea of life that we're all connected to. This is some of the most important work we can be doing as humans right now on the planet. Just like the seed, who you're becoming is already inside of you. The present moment will nourish, will shape you in all the ways you need. And if you resonate with what I'm saying, maybe you don't know why. Maybe you do. Maybe it's just a feeling. How do you feel? Because it's not about the words. Maybe I'm speaking to that deeper part of you. Maybe you feel called to do something. Maybe you don't know what. You feel you have a purpose, a mission. Maybe you just crave something more real. This is why we create the internal environment to support the things that you deeply feel called to do, that you deeply feel called to be in the world, to play your part. Every single thing that you need is already inside of you. Tap into that. Keep tapping in, keep looking internally. If you feel called to work with me, you can find me at eidofurst.com. That's EIDOFURST.com. And I am offering a discount code. It's 15% off for my 30-minute sessions. And it's all lowercase, just hello, just as a way to say hello, I guess. But yeah, I'm so honored to be here with all of you, to be a part of this shift and to witness and participate as things continue to unfold. And thanks for listening to what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Emily. I have a few questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed how far out you are. And I've really enjoyed, not like far out, but I always enjoy how you're not so contained. I have green light on my hands right now that just messed me up. I normally don't see my own energy, but apparently now, since talking to you, which by the way, I've noticed how red your hands are. All the blood to your hands. It's like, my God, you are moving energy. It's crazy. Do they feel different?
I didn't notice. I don't know. Maybe.
Really?
No.
But hold them up to your face. Look at the color difference.
They're a little rosy.
Wow, that's crazy. But I've always enjoyed how far outside the box you are and how you don't bring a ton of heavy language into the talk and you don't talk over my head. You know, because when I get out into the quantum world and I'm trying to hold in my head that time is not linear and everything is happening at once, like even what you were talking about. And it's not about words. It's not about this. It's about this healing and attraction and all of this. It's like, okay, I can understand it. But then when I get deep into it, it's so big that I feel like my humanness has a hard time staying connected. And I find that when I go to other teachers and healers, sometimes they'll just talk right over that and not help me stay engaged. But then I feel like I'm carrying a whole bunch of other words and other experiences and techniques and modalities. And you don't do that. And I've always enjoyed that about you.
I mean, we're all human. We have to be exactly where we are, you know?
I agree. No, it's so wonderful. It's refreshing. Thank you so much for the discount too. That was really kind.
Yeah, I wanted to offer it. I'm excited to offer it, but thanks for having me.
You are so welcome. I miss seeing your face like every week or
I know, same.
connecting. It's such a joy to have you here again.
Yeah,
I can't wait to maybe we can do some more work in the future. Hint, hint.
I'm down.
Good. She's down for it. Well, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy.
You too. You too.
Bye. Like now I'll be Emily. That's Mary you can hear in the background. She's coming on. Mary Lloyd Medium. This is going to be fun. What animals can teach us about listening? I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to bring her on because it's better to have Mary tell us everything rather than me go how much I am excited about it. It's so good to see you. Hi.
Good to see you. Hello. Hello, everybody out there.
How is Colorado?
Sunny and windy.
Really?
Yeah.
It's very nice. It is overcast and anyways. So
I'll send
please,
some light your way.
I would like that. I'd like some sunshine. And look, everybody's like, "Hi, Mary." Okay, please give us your 10 minutes of passion. Cannot wait to bathe in it. Enjoy.
Thank you. Everyone for being here. I want to first ask how do you explain how we understand each other? I'm speaking a language that you understand right now, or so you understand what I'm saying. But how do you explain how individuals who speak different languages understand one another? Think about it. We all learn to speak in a unique and individualized way. We have our own way of learning. Also, what we learn to communicate with is influenced by all that's around us, our geography and our culture. All the varieties of geography and culture on this earth have created over 7,000 different spoken languages. So we each learn differently. Then there's the sheer variety of different languages to learn from. This brings me back to my question. How do we understand each other? When two individuals understand each other, there's a comfort and an ease between them. It's when we don't understand each other, we get uncomfortable and even frustrated trying to understand the other individual. Yet, if we work at it, if we both work at it, we will find a way to understand each other. I'm a psychic and a medium and an animal intuitive. Part of my practice is to help others to communicate with animals. I've always been around animals. They are a part of my culture. I have a degree in animal behavior, and I've spent nearly 30 years as a wildlife and natural resources professional. Communication and language is not unique to humans. It can be found in all living things, including animals. Over the years, I have used my varied experiences to better understand how animals communicate. For instance, a song that a bird sings is definitely a spoken language with sentence structure and even dialects. But language isn't just spoken. Language is based on things like body posture or gestures or facial expressions and even touch. That means when we are communicating, we are actually using multiple languages at once. Speaking in these multiple languages at the same time puts a whole nother layer of meaning into what is being communicated, because which language is being used the most often in that instance has a meaning in and of itself. For example, Someone who's hard of hearing learns to communicate with gestures and expressions more than the spoken word. Whereas somebody who's blind learns to communicate with spoken word and touch. In a sense, the language that's used is most based on what an individual needs to survive. Take dogs, for instance. Due to their close relationship to us humans over the eons, dogs have actually evolved to use sound almost as much as they use body postures and expressions. Who hasn't met a dog who barks at a doorbell while wagging its tail at the same time? Cats, on the other hand, use a language much like their wild cousins. Cats in the wild are hunters and rely heavily on stealth. So the language used by cats has almost no sound and is based primarily on subtle gestures and postures. It doesn't matter what type of language you're using to communicate. Reading and understanding language cues definitely uses the analytical or left side of the brain. So what does that have to do with what animals teach us about listening? Have you ever watched an animal in a new situation? Like when you bring a new dog or cat home. They spend a majority of the time in those beginning hours or days listening and observing until they get comfortable. Let me share a personal experience of an animal teaching me more about listening. About 2 years ago, I opened my home to a very special cat named Ingy. Ingy is special because she has cerebellar hypoplasia, or CH for short. CH occurs in cats and dogs, and what it is when part of the brain is smaller and less developed than normal. This results in the nervous system or muscle movements having issues, so you get a lot of jerky movements and general uncoordinated motion. Most cats and dogs with CH don't make it to adulthood, but Ingy is different. She's 13 years old, happy, healthy, and extremely persistent in how she interacts with the world. Admittedly, when I agreed to take Ingy in, I knew nothing about CH, and I thought I could fall back on my long background of communicating with animals. Was I wrong? Remember what I said about wildcats, dogs, and doorbells? Wildcats and their domestic cousins are taught to use subtle gestures and postures and nearly no sound in communicating. By comparison, our closest companions, dogs, use sound and obvious gestures a lot to communicate with us. How cats and dogs communicate is based on what they need to survive. In the first few months of our life together, both Ingy and I were beyond frustrated because we couldn't understand what the other was trying to communicate. She would literally crawl up into my face and meow at the top of her lungs. She'd scream at me, and I'd scream right back, "What do you want?" And every time this happened, I just couldn't wrap my brain around how very uncat-like she was acting. The breakthrough came when I stopped trying to talk to Ingy and I started to listening to her. I stepped back and took in how Ingy was communicating. I remembered all the times Ingy had watched and listened to me first. As I started to listen to her, I stopped using my analytical brain and I started using my intuitive senses. It was at that point that I realized that my analytical brain had it all wrong. Ingy could not do subtle gestures like other cats. She cannot swish the end of her tail when she's annoyed. She can't even arch her back and fluff her tail when she's scared. But when I listened and I let Ingy talk, I realized she was talking like a dog. To greet you, Ingy will wag her tail and lick your hand. All along, Ingy was communicating with me in her own cat language taught to her by a dog. I just had to stop and listen to her. This lesson in listening is a way we all can learn to better communicate with animals. In their own ways, animals are talking all the time. Instead of trying to talk to them in our language or in a manner that we think they would talk, we first need to listen to them. Don't interrupt. Relax, receive, and actively listen to what they are saying. By listening, it will lower any frustrations you have to understanding them. You will naturally switch into your intuitive brain, and you will become more comfortable communicating with animals, which in turn will lead to greater understanding. Listening to each other. This is how we understand each other. In the coming months, I will hold a series of classes on animals and listening through the Center of Love and Light's online portal. I hope you can join me there as we go deeper into what animals can teach us about listening. In the meantime, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Mary Lloyd Medium, or visit my website at marylloydmedium.com, where I have a 20% discount for the Luminaires. All you need to do is put in the code JBM. The discount is good through the end of March. And I hope that we can connect and communicate with animals or loved ones or even land and beyond. Thank you so much for sharing a few minutes of your time with me today. And thank you for being part of this community.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I'm over here, like, I'm sobbing. But it's just some things hit your heart. How did you talk about Ingy and not fall apart?
Because part of her lesson with me that I've been, taking in is patience and persistence. So it takes her 3 times as long to get across the room. But she is happy to take that time. And I've learned to step back and honor that time for both her and me. Now you're going to make me cry.
That is so beautiful. I was sharing in the chat thread that Mary is the animal communicator that I've been reaching out to help me connect to my kitty cat who's gone on a journey. His name is Umi. He's been out for 4 weeks now away from home. And it's been hard. Like, when I love big and I love hard, I am all in it. I mean, just so when something's out of your control and somebody leaves and there's no proper goodbye, there's not a handing off the torch and closing up, Mary's words have been so wonderful in helping me remember, because I feel like I know these things. It's just when I get emotional, I have a hard time being able to connect. And so it's so good to have a team and having others out there who have those abilities. And you've been helping me remember how to stay tried and true, not to just unravel, fall apart, to remind me that everything has a perfection to it, that even in my grief and my sadness, it doesn't mean that anything is wrong, is what I've gotten a lot from your words. And of course, directions of where to put up my signs and kind of where to go and who to talk to. And, and so I've been gridding my neighborhood and which deterrent to put out for the coyotes that hike through my backyard, to go to Piedmont Park, how to put out wolf urine. I mean, you've been so full of information, and I'm I just wanted to publicly thank you for everything that you've been doing for me. It's really wonderful.
Thank you. Animals are teachers for us, and we are teachers for them. And that is the beautiful relationship that I've learned from you and Umi. And I thank you. And I thank you for the opportunity to really embrace the love that you have.
Thanks. Whew. Well, with that said, this has really been awesome. I love it when you talk about your daytime job and how you've dedicated your life to animals and how that's translated to your psychic abilities. Like, that is just, I feel like I want to perch up and go, and Mary, what's the next story? Like, I love it when you share tidbits in class throughout the whole mentorship when you were like, oh, you were sexing moose. What was it? Or counting
aging moose, sexing bears.
Sorry, aging moose and sexing bears. And you have to know their migration patterns and where they are to be able to do that. And you intuitively use your inner compass instead of this technology that they have out there or getting up in the helicopter, right? You're like, oh, come over here.
Yeah.
Like, I love those stories. I bet they just look at you like, that's Mary. And they just grown to accept it after 30 years. That's just the way Mary does it.
Pretty much. And I hope to have a lot more of those stories in my classes. So,
oh, good.
Please join it.
I'm going to be there. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have a wonderful rest of your Colorado day.
Thank you, Luminaries. Bye.
See you later, Mary. Bye. Gosh, this is so much fun. Oh, technology and crying does not go together. I can't see well. But we get to speak to the lovely Kelbi McCumber Morries next. She's going to be talking to us about herbalism and using your intuition to choose your medicine. Hello? Yes. Please, can we have a lesson like every day for 30 days? Is there a month that's like honoring medicine, and then we could have like a slice of Kelbi going, this is how you connect to that? I don't know if she's smiling on the other end or being like, oh, just add something else to my plate, Jamie. But I love the way that Kelbi sees the world and connects to all of this. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my God, it's going really well. Oh God, it looks so gorgeous. I love the background.
Setting up my new space.
It's magical, just like you.
Thank you.
That's so cool. Okay, have the floor. Do tell us everything. I can't wait.
Thank you. Well, hello everyone. As Jamie said, my name is Kelbi. I am an energy worker with Shamanic Flair, a community herbalist, and a medicine grower, and I'm really passionate about nervous system regulation, especially when it comes to healing trauma. Today, I really want to talk to you about the core of my work, which is empowering you to be in control. So, I want you to be in control of your healing journey in all aspects. And these are some tools that I want to give you today that will help you do that. You can, well, first of all, what I call this is intuitive herbalism, and that's not my own term. It's a term that's used by lots of people, just like herbalism is something that is not my knowledge. This isn't my knowledge. This is knowledge for everyone. This is knowledge that we should all have a little bit of in our homes. And so I just want to provide you with some tools to empower you to use these things and not just know that they're out there and wonder, how do I get into that? So let's see. A lot of times folks come to me and they will have a particular issue that they want to deal with. And they will call me up or see me at a booth and they'll say, Kelbi, help me with my sleep. Now, I'll ask a few questions and try and discern like what I have on hand that might be appropriate to help you. This may or may not be what's exactly right for you. And even with a long consultation, you might not be able to clue me in on all of the nuances about your sleep and what the underlying causes of those sleep patterns or habits that you're trying to change are. And if you don't know them, I won't be able to know them. And one of the beautiful things about energy work and herbalism is frequency. They are able to have a communication, plants, with us that is higher than our brain. So we are speaking to them on a vibrational level. And we can use this vibration to talk and figure out, do we vibe with this plant or not? And there's different methods of like divination, basically, that we can use to do that. And I want to give you a few of those to use, because what you might not realize is that there could be an underlying reason for your sleep pattern or whatever it is issue that you're coming to me with. And we want to get to that and not just give you something because this is what people say is good for sleep. I want you to be able to have an interactive experience with this medicine that, because of that relationship that you're creating, you are able to go deeper with it, and the medicine works more profoundly for you. Choosing in this way can greatly enhance the medicine and your relationship to it. Meeting the plants with this kind of vulnerability and truth helps to keep us aligned with your healing goals. So, intuitive herbalism is also a way of keeping you in control of your healing journey, which is really important to me. In my own healing journey, I felt very out of control and I didn't have the tools that I needed, or I thought I didn't. But once I started to learn that I did, my entire life shifted. I want to give you all some tools that will help you do that. So when you walk up to me or call me and you say, what do I take for sleep? I'm going to throw it back at you just a little bit in the form of how to make this decision. Instead of just placing it on me to give you all of the best tools that there are out there for herbalism and sleep, I'm going to ask you to really get in touch with yourself. There's 3 main ways that I teach folks to do this. One of them is by use of a pendulum. Now, every time that you use your pendulum, you're going to want to figure out what is a yes or a no answer for you. It can shift. So you're going to use your pendulum to figure out what a yes and no answer is. This is going to help you discern which medicine is best for you. Another way of doing this is a sway test. So you're going to find yourself standing on the floor with your feet about hip width apart and what I call a potent posture. So you're going to be very balanced between forward and back. And you're going to be able to feel that if you shift forward, everything in your body makes a shift. Same thing with going backwards. So in this practice that I will describe a little bit further in a moment, when you're holding the medicine in your field, you will get a yes or no answer again. And that will happen by either pulling you towards the medicine forward, and that will be your yes, or you will find yourself sort of being pulled away from it, giving you a no answer. If you're finding yourself in the middle, this may be a kind of maybe, which gives you the indication that it's not going to affect profound health change for you. It's not going to hurt you either. Most herbs aren't going to do anything to affect you unless there's a counterindication. The third way that people use to discern what medications to take that are just right for them and their constitution and what's happening in their world is an internal intuitive dialogue. So once you really become embodied and you start to get to know yourself, you get in touch with yourself on a different level, you have an inner communication. And you start to have a yes and no that you reach internally. You can get a flash of color, a signal, a sign, a word, an internal feeling. And this is just a very unique thing to each person. So if you have come to this place in your life and you have this tool, this is another way that you can find your yes and no answer. So what we will do using any of these methods is you're going to take your medicine. It may be a bottle, it may be who knows what. You can use this for all kinds of things in your life, not just medicine. So we're going to use medicine right now, and you're going to place that in your energetic field. I love to place it over my heart. If you are working with a particular body part, you might want to use it there. And you're going to ask a question. Now, I want you to think about it, though. Do not just go in and ask, will this help me? Because every herb that you set up to test today is going to jump up and be like, yeah, I can help you, because it can. All of these herbs are going to benefit you, but is it going to do what you came to do today? It might not. And you want to affect change in your life. So be specific. Ask for the nuances of what you're asking about. Is this an issue with getting to sleep? Staying asleep? You know what it is that you're asking about. Yes, I know. We don't know those underlying causes. But the more specific you are about what it is that's bothering you that you want to get to the root of, the greater the communication lines you have opened up between yourself and the medicine to receive an answer that is pretty clear. Now, I might have 3 or 4 medicines on hand for you to choose from, and so we'll lay those out and we'll test each and every one, and we'll put them each into a category. Here's like the most strong reactions, all of the negative reactions, and the stuff in the middle. And from that, you start to understand what your body is asking for. And in those answers, you might also see some of the underlying things that it's working on just based on the herbs that it has chosen for you. This is a really special way to get in touch with your medicine, yourself, and your own healing journey, as opposed to just coming to me and asking me, what's the number one thing for sleep? I want you to feel like you're in control. Like you took the information that I or any other herbalist has given you, and you made an educated, informed, energetic, conscious decision about what to take. And your body has already decided and agreed that this is what works for it, which means that it's already opening itself up for it to work. How cool is that? And again, you can use this for so many things in your life, and I encourage you to do so. So, excuse me if I kind of read this next line. It's kind of important to me. I want it to come across just right. Intuitive herbalism incorporates consent culture with informative care and enables client and practitioner to address their own forms of liberation through relationship to divination, nature, and intention. So if you want me to test a medicine for you or help you learn these methods of doing so, find me, sign up for a consultation. If you want to dive deeper into medicine making, how to do all of that, book a Gateway to Herbalism course, and I'll teach you how to do it. Find me on my website, www.luminoushealing.com. I am on Instagram at Luminous Healing. I am on Facebook at Luminous Healing. I am on YouTube at Luminous Healing. And in all of these iterations of Lumen, it is spelled Lumen as an homage to my child. I am also really honored to be one of the first practitioners that is on the new virtual Center for Love and Light. And I hope you guys will all join us in that community there. Thank you so much for your time today. Take good care.
Well, I know you also talked about a link, or am
I do have a special currently right now. 21% off of anything I offer. That's my energetic services and my herbalism. When you go online and you book, or you contact me directly for the herbalism, it'll be code 2021.
Oh my gosh, loving 2021. How do you feel about the energy of this year so far?
Huge shift. Thank you.
You
needed
liked
it. I'm excited for it. I mean, being with you in 2020 didn't make it such a bad thing. And it really gave a great propulsion for 2021. So I'm excited for it.
In the future, will you be having some classes to kind of teach us more about how to communicate with medicine and herbs? Like, I love how you opened up. You're like, let me empower you. I was like, bring it on, Kelbi. Yes, please. So,
well, you know, that's my journey. I want people to know that we're not under the guise of someone else. People help us along the way, but we get to choose those people, and we get to choose those things that we take on as our health journey as we go.
Yeah, we get to choose those things, but why it's fascinating to me that we have spent so much time giving up our power to, you know, a doctor or an authority figure or a lover, just somebody that we adore or respect. And here you are showing up going, listen, you can like me and think I'm funny and just awesome, which, by the way, you look so gorgeous today. I had to say that. And you're still going to be like, I'm not going to take your power even if you're trying to give it to me. Here it is, right back in your face. Love you too. You have a conversation with it. You tell me. I was giggling out loud when you were like, if you can't tell me why you're not sleeping well, how am I going to know? I'm like, I laugh because it is true. Like, we do need to know what's going on with ourselves, but also you are really in tune. I would not be surprised whatsoever if you were like, I know you can't tell me, but I can tap into things and I can probably tell you. So do you have an element in your work as well?
Yeah.
I thought so. There's a little bit of magic in there.
Lots.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for this. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your new home and settling in.
Thanks. See you soon.
Bye. Oh, now we have one last person. Oh, I hear some really good breathing happening. We're going to be talking to Dr. Brooke Higgins. Yay! And she is going to be talking to us about the top 5 things she learned from Spirit in regards to how they see the body. So Dr. Brooke Higgins has many certifications, but she's focusing on her medical intuitive abilities, which seem to come so natural to her. If you don't mind me saying that about you, Brooke. Dr. Brooke. There you are. Hi.
Hey.
Wow. I like this color on you.
Oh, yeah, the baby pink, the salmon.
I like the salmon. I can't
I'm
wait.
just moving my little notes over to make sure I cover everything.
Yeah.
Get you bigger.
I know. I just threw you up on the screen and everything. You ready? Roll.
I am going to be ready in just one itty bitty second. Okay. Ready.
She's got this, guys. All right, the floor is yours. Enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Dr. Higgins. I'm a medical intuitive and educator, and I am thrilled that you are joining me to be a part of my passion, which is the body, which is talking to spirit. And I just wanted to share with you what I found to be extra interesting when I do these medical intuitive sessions. And if you weren't aware of what a medical intuitive is, what I do is I receive your answers and then I work as a conduit between your guides and my guides to have a collaboration to deliver your spirit-specific answers to bring that balance that you are seeking. Which leads me right into how spirit sees you. I found so much comfort when I do these medical intuitive sessions, when meditating, when connecting, when hearing how spirit sees other people. Because we are all one, I know it also correlates to me and to you. And one of the main things that brings me so much comfort each and every time is how spirit sees you as perfect, as divine, as not needing a single thing to change. They are here to be of support. And so some of the top 5 things I wanted to share today was how spirit sees you as perfect, how your guides are always with you, the difference in how they perceive areas of pain or challenge or imbalance in the body, how past lives come into play. I love learning about past lives in relation to our current lifetime, and even though everything is on the same timeline, about how we tap into things, as well as how important the heart chakra is to healing and well-being. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So as I was saying about the perfection that spirit sees you as, they are here working with you like as if you are an artist, and they are handing you the supplies to paint that beautiful picture of your desire. And so what I have learned is just how how much freedom we have in our life, just how much abundance and blessings, and how we are always in control. And even with these health related questions, and I hear the pain and I hear the challenges behind it, it always gives me this comfort to deliver the messages. And you'll always see me happy when I'm corresponding back with the information, because Spirit is literally sharing with me each and every time that they are with you, that they are right by your side, that they are handing you the supplies that you asked for. So if there is a challenge that you have in your life that is bothering you, I would encourage you to maybe reframe your desires. And that leads me into how they help you understand your desires, how they help guide you, how they are your spirit friends, your best team, your assistants, they always have what your desire is in mind to help you. So if you say, I want to feel better, something general like that, I want to feel better. And I know in manifestation, you can say, I feel better. I get it as a statement now. But even if you pose it as a question and you say, spirit team, my guides, if you know them by name, spirit animals, source, anybody, your angels, ask them the question and ask them to guide you. What you'll start to notice if you follow your intuition is you'll start having a feeling towards wanting to eat something more, or wanting to go someplace. Like, I had a session where your guides were specifically telling me that they were on a regular basis showing you the foods that would be best for your body. So it's up to you to choose to accept that information and utilize it. So just know they are there with you each and every time you ask them a question. So you ask them the question of, I want to get better for this or that, and they will show you messages in the way that you perceive it best. Meaning, maybe you see it in your third eye. Maybe you feel it. Maybe you start craving it. Maybe you just have that yes and no meter inside of you to where you just know when you come to a certain item in the grocery store, you're like, I know that's good for me. I don't know why, but I know that's good for me. Or you have a certain modality done, like acupuncture or pranic healing or energy healing or hypnosis. And it just resonates with you. Follow what that's resonating, because they are showing you that is the way to the desired outcome that you are feeling, that you are wanting, that you are needing. So when I say that Spirit sees you as perfect, they do. They don't choose your outcome for you. They just help you along with it. And what they have shown me in these medical intuitive sessions, when it comes to different levels of imbalance in the body, whether somebody has cancer or somebody has a scraped knee, they show me it as the density within our body, where they see people when they're healthy as this light, airy, feathery, soft, mobile person. And they've shown me like that is the energy where we feel the most balance. And when it comes to things as they get heavier, darker, at the tail end is Cancer. Cancer to them is shown as this dark rock-like substance that can't move in your body, which makes sense as far as I'm concerned. When things get less challenged to more challenged, the heavier the density, the less light that's going through, the less mobile something is, it's like nothing's getting through to it. And I found that so interesting. And taking that back to how they see everything as being imbalanced, it's like they're saying how you got the particular medical condition is not because we see your thoughts or your deeds or your works or your intentions as being imbalanced. They are saying that you felt those things as being imbalanced, and it creates a heavier and heavier little burden on you, and it doesn't allow that light to come in. And as light comes in, it moves, it breaks up, it heals. So that's just something I wanted to get across on how spirit sees the body. I love how no matter what question I get asked, no matter what health medical question I get asked, no matter big, small, or indifferent, they are always showing me how in some shape or form that it was all energy, and all energy is the same. Where a past life or another lifetime, when they were showing me, which is just awesome, they were showing me that you can collect all of the good qualities from every lifetime you're currently living. If you think of it as all being on the same timeline, you can collect all those good qualities, all those things that you went through, and you don't necessarily need to pick up the things that weren't working for you in those lifetimes, which I find really cool that we can like, oh, well, we were war heroes in this lifetime and it taught me perseverance. But at the same time, I notice when people pull in different lifetimes of theirs, they pull in not just the good, but the bad. I shouldn't say bad. They pull in things that could be challenging them. A way that they help me share with others when I see this is recognizing where you begin. When you meditate or you have a moment of prayer or just being in the moment where you're not noticing your breath or your center, and it gives you a time to check out the different layers around you. What does not feel like you? Sometimes it was within the past life itself, where people identify it with so much that energy gets held on to them. So as they're opening up to the good stuff of the other lifetimes, they are also kind of grabbing onto the things that aren't as healthy or wonderful for them. So just take notice, and while you're meditating or while you're praying, for what is currently helping you and what is not. Tap in, go from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet. And if you ask these questions to spirit as you're meditating, they'll point out the different areas where different energy is kind of attaching, where it's just holding on to you. And after saying that, I think this is always like the icing on the cake. This last part is my favorite. When I heard this, I remember emailing back before I was even done, getting so excited about what I just learned from their question, because it's about the heart chakra. And the heart chakra, it's not just about bringing love, which it does. It's about your health and your immunity. I had this cool question related to EMF waves on how EMF waves affect the person because they're on the computer all day. And so they were really concerned where it's affecting and how it's affecting. And of course, Spirit answered that. But the recommendation, what I got out of it was that your heart chakra, when it's opened, it eats up all this negative energy around us. It eats it all up. It eats up the EMF waves. It eats up the energy that's coming towards us. And the whole point of it was keep your heart open. No matter what, the most challenging in life, if you want to keep balanced health, if you want to keep energy from not attaching to you, or regardless if you're at your computer 50 hours within the 2 days, I was just calculating. I was like, wait, 50 hours in a day, that wouldn't make sense. That your heart will eat it up and absorb it, recycle it, and you are good to go. And what's cool about that is if your heart is opened, yet when we get hurt emotionally or physically or mentally, we close up the heart. We want to protect ourselves. But what Spirit showed me is that keeping your heart open is what protects you. And I never heard that. I never heard that before. I never heard that the heart is what eats everything up around us. I never heard that the heart eats up those negative emotions. But when I was shown it just brought me so much joy. And these are some of the cool insights that I get to share and learn with each and every medical intuitive session. I love that I'm on this healing journey with you, because when I give you your answers, it's not just for you, but it's for me and it's for everybody else. And that's why I make these public, because stuff like that, where you learn how your heart gets opened and eats up those EMF waves, and they eat up the radio waves, and they eat up the negative things that are coming at us at all times. I feel like everybody should know that. So I never keep any of my blogs secret. I never keep any of my questions that I get secret. They are all public because we are all one. We're all in this together, and we are going to get a huge spirit library with your help that I can't wait to share and for you to read. And it's on my website, as you see right there, drbrookehiggins.com. It's in the blog section, so feel free to read through it. One thing I would like to say as well as Spirit, even though I get specific answers, sometimes they just go off on tangents, on other things that aren't necessarily related, but you need to know. So I share with you the answers. Sometimes they don't give you the direct answer that you're looking for, where I could make it into a Western medicine answer or an Eastern medicine answer. It goes into the past lives, or it goes into your auric field, or it goes into meridians, or how your brain works. Some of the things I've never heard before, and it's fascinating. Now you can see why I do this. You can see my joy within it, because it's where I get. It cracks me up seeing my face next to my face. So if you would like to have a session with me, you can go to my website, and I offer 1 questions, or you can ask up to 3 questions. And I do this so you're able to you're able to have your own specific answers to your health related questions. And it can also be a general question. Sometimes the general questions are the most fun, like what is going on overall, because then they just kind of show me the general gist of your body, and I get to just deliver that to you. Another thing is, I think my time is up. Oh, shucks. That went fast. Well, thank you all so very much for allowing me to be a part of your day, for listening, and I can't wait to talk to you soon. You can join me on Instagram as well. But thank you so very much.
I love this. The comments. Blaze on, Dr. Higgins. Blaze on. Yes.
At first, I couldn't see it because I wanted to make sure I saw my bullet points. And then all of a sudden, I just didn't. I just went with it.
I love that you went with it. You know, I've never had a conversation about how the heart chakra could stop EMFs or kind of become that barricade or blocker.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, this has got to make sense. You know, I'm a firm believer that we have all of the natural ability. We don't need to have an instrument or a tool or a chemical or medicine. Mm-hmm. If we are primed and focused and we have that belief system developed, I say we have all the instruments we need. So, in listening to you say that, I was like, yeah, okay. But that fits how I see things. You know, I say that out loud, but, you know, I'm not there 100% myself. You know, I have my weak belief systems and, you know, I need downtime and I need some medicine every now and then. I'm not saying I'm that person or there yet, but I believe that's what we do have and what's capable.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. We have it all within us. And I love seeing how special our bodies are, and hearing things like the heart chakra just gave me all the tingles. And I did, oh my goodness, Jamie, Lumineers, when I heard this, I couldn't help myself because it takes me about 10 hours to do each question, to write it out, to get it in video blog form. I just had to immediately email the person and be like, I just learned so much.
I love that you make it public for us too. Like, go, please, everybody, check out her blog on her website. Go to her website right here, Dr.
It's free. It's totally free.
And go through the library and watch the videos. It's so fascinating. In fact, I've been texting with Dr. Brooke. I'm like, hey, you want to do something in February? You know, like the medical, medical doctor and like the intuitive psychic kind of a thing. And we look at an aura. And then we both diagnose it from our, not diagnosis, but discuss it from our viewpoints of how we connect to energy. That'd be fascinating.
I would love it. That would be just so much fun just in general. I know if I was not in this position right now, that is like candy. I feel like I would just eat it up. I just would want to like listen to it all day long. Like, tell me more. What's going on with the body? But again, that's probably why I'm in the position that I am, because I could just eat this up all day.
Well, this has been fascinating, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day, out of your work, and showing up and just offering this to us. Thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Lumineers. Thank you for listening and giving me a platform to babble on. I appreciate you all so much. And like I said, I know we are all one, and it's an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to talk with you, to work with you all. And thank you for being a part of my journey. Thank you so very much.
You are very welcome. Take care and have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks. Bye, Brooke. This is awesome. I cannot believe it was so slow and so fast at the same time, listening to everybody talk about their passion and where they are, where they're coming from, what they've learned, just sharing deeply about themselves. It has been an honor to hold this space for this to happen. Thank you so much for lending your time, your ears, your eyes. And again, my ask of you throughout all of this, if you're seeing something that you like, if you're sensing something that just makes you go, yeah, that's awesome, what's your next step? What are you going to do? research it, follow up, continue down the rabbit hole. When you expand and you grow, we all do. So come on, let's all do this together. We're all waking up. We're all on this journey of understanding subtle light energy, how to be energy-centric and use it, how to be authentic, how to be intuitive, powerful, and in ways where we are self-first without being selfish, being an individual while also being at the same time part of a community, a unity. It is possible. And I know in learning new things, we struggle a little bit. So we're going to get that friction, but that's going to be sometimes necessary to get to the end goal of having everything that you feel you want to have or desire to have. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, if you like this, please subscribe to Facebook, to YouTube, like it. And on YouTube, please hit the notification bell so that you will know when I am live the next time and not miss it. Especially great for the members here on YouTube. If you want to know when I'm popping up and doing some discussions just for members, please hit the notification bell so that you won't miss it. With this, I'm going to sign off. Have a beautiful Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Put a smile on your face. Choose happiness. We can do this. It's not woo-woo. It's true.